I thought I was done making enemies. That's the lie I told myself after I walked away from private work a year ago. No more dead-eyed husbands. No more surveillance vans. No more do me a favor, but don't ask questions. I was getting good at ignoring phone calls. Better at ignoring the ones that came in from blocked numbers. Now I live above a shuttered laundromat with one burner phone and just enough guilt to keep me from sleeping more than 4 hours a night. And last week, someone put a countdown on my life. It started with a message I didn't open. The notification came in at 2:31 a.m. I wasn't asleep, just lying there in the dark, scrolling through old case notes I should have burned months ago. The phone lit up with a sort of ding. App DRK/control. I never installed that, never even heard of it. But there it was, with full system permissions. My phone didn't even give me a chance to deny access. The preview read, "Contract confirmed. 7 days remaining." I tapped it. I shouldn't have, but I did. The screen went black, then a loading wheel. Then, target, Michael M., age 39. Last seen, redacted. Current status, confirmed. Engagement tier, priority. Contractor assigned. Network active. Time remaining, 6 days, 23 hours, 58 minutes, and 9 seconds. Below that was a live feed of my building's front entrance. Grainy footage, like from a dash cam or a mounted camera across the street. I closed the app, hard rebooted the phone, factory reset. Didn't matter. When the phone powered back on, the app was there again, open. I figured it was a sick prank. I had made people angry before. A jealous husband here, a fraud ring there. Someone could have cobbled together some old data and tried to scare me. But then, I saw the photo. At the bottom of the screen was a still frame, security cam angle, taken from the hallway of my building. It was me, unlocking my door, from inside the building. I started calling contacts, everyone I still trusted. Some didn't pick up, a few hadn't kept their numbers. One of them, Lyle, a tech guy I used to work with, called me back. Quiet voice, sounded like he hadn't slept either. "Where'd you see the countdown?" he asked. I didn't answer. I hadn't told him it was a countdown. He hung up before I could ask how he knew. I left my apartment an hour later. Didn't pack, just grabbed my go bag and walked. There was a black sedan parked across the street. Nothing special, but it hadn't been there earlier. As I passed it, I saw a phone mounted to the dash. The camera was angled out the windshield. I looked into the lens. The phone buzzed in the center console, and the car drove away. It's been 14 hours since the notification. The app updates in real time. Target, active. Engagement in progress. ETA, 6 days, 10 hours, 12 minutes, and 33 seconds. And just now, before I turned this burner off to write this down, it added a new line. Source verified. Access granted. I know what that means. Someone gave them my info, and I think I know who. I've worked enough cases to know when I'm being followed, but this doesn't feel like a tale. There's no car, no shadow, no footprints in the snow. This feels like a reflection, like wherever I go, the world adjusts to meet me. I'm staying at a friend's cabin up north. No smart devices, no Wi-Fi, no cell towers for a good 20 miles. A wood stove and a transistor radio are the most advanced tech in here. Still, the app updated this morning. Location confirmed. Asset en route. ETA, 5 days, 21 hours, and 3 minutes. The words blinked for a second, then a second line appeared. New. Proximity engagement protocol initiated. I hadn't told anyone where I was. I hadn't used GPS. I hadn't used anything. So I backtracked everything. How did they get in? My old laptop, factory wiped a year ago, was stored in a closet. I pulled it out and cracked it open. Nothing in storage, but in the drive logs, I found a hidden sync folder titled /echo_mirror. It was filled with copies of my phone camera footage, screenshots of apps, notes I dictated even when the mic was off. The last files were dated 4 weeks ago, right after my last client. Her name was Marissa Wynn. She hired me to track down her missing brother, said the cops wouldn't help. I traced him to an abandoned warehouse in Temp, tied into a crypto laundering op, the kind of job that usually ends in a shrug and a paycheck. But he wasn't missing. He was deleted. No DMV, no employer records, no bank history. Just erased. I'd found a scrap of paper with a weird signature on it. Looked like a black sigil, half code, half contract. I took a photo and uploaded it to a private archive. I'd forgotten about it until now. But someone else didn't. I checked the DRK/control app again. The site just updated. Contractor profile locked. Source file, Marissa W. Contract status, live. Priority verified. My client ordered the hit. The woman who cried in my office, who offered to pay me in cash up front, who thanked me for bringing him home. She was the source. I thought about calling her. I thought about asking why. But the site updated before I could. A new message, blinking in red. Initiating final phase, observation. Then a live stream opened. Low res, grainy, slight fisheye angle. From behind me. Inside the cabin. I turned around. There was a lens, mounted in the old smoke detector on the ceiling. I stared into it, and the screen blinked again. Target acknowledged. ETA, 3 days. I'm not running anymore. I'm going to find out how deep this goes. If someone opened a contract on me, I want to know how many others are waiting in line. I always thought hits were private. 2 people, 1 job, dirty cash, clean body. But this is something else. This is public, in the darkest, most invisible way. I drove 8 hours south to an old contact in Yuma. Rawl, former Fed turned fixer. If anyone could trace this, it was him. He owed me. Once saved his ass from a blackmail loop when the burner phone got cloned. He let me in without a word. Didn't even ask why I was bleeding. I handed him my phone and the busted laptop. Showed him the DRK/control feed. Told him about the site, the hit, the countdown. He went pale. I've seen this once before, he said. It's not just a contract. It's a bounty feed. Like a fantasy league for murder. He tapped into the back-end traffic using a spoofed relay node. It wasn't just my dossier being viewed. Thousands of users were logged in. And they weren't just watching. They were voting, commenting, tipping. They call it guided hunting, Rawl said. It's not just the killer. They've got support. Drones, cameras, safe house moles. Civilians paid off to report sightings. People like you are tagged, then delivered. He paused. And look at this. He pulled up the contract metadata. At the top of the list of verified supporters was a name I hadn't seen in a long time. P. Carson, my old partner, Brad. He was the only person who knew both my safe houses, the only one who had my full archive key. We used to trade intel, crack codes, back when we still believed in doing good work. I thought we lost touch after he burned out. Turns out, he just switched teams. The feed updated again. Contract, entering final window. Engagement tier, observed execution. ETA, 3 hours and 52 minutes. Then, a new message appeared highlighted. Let the viewers choose. Options appeared below it. Method, location, final words. They were letting people vote on how I die. Raul unplugged everything. He told me to run, said he'd try to wipe my trace, buy me some time. I believed him, until I saw the new upload. A still image, taken from the garage, just outside his house. It showed me, holding the laptop, time-stamped 2 minutes ago. The network had already updated my location. They didn't need to find me. I was already in the stream. I'm writing this from the only place I know without cameras, a fallout shelter I found in a closed police file 5 years ago. No electricity, no heat, just concrete and dark. I have 1 bullet in a loaded Glock. If they send someone, I'll try to take them with me. But I don't think that's the plan. I think they want me to run until I break, because the viewers, they always tip better when the target cries. I've been underground for 13 hours. No phone, no signal, just a flashlight, a half-dead laptop, and the weight of knowing that every second I'm alive is another second they let me be. That's the difference I've realized between being hunted and being scheduled. The feed updated at midnight. Contract active. Final phase initiated. Viewers, 18,222. There's no map now, no ETA, just a full-screen video feed. Me, sitting here, live. I have no idea where the camera is, but I know it's in here. There's no sound except my own breathing and the quiet hum of anticipation. The kind that doesn't come from machines, but from attention. The sense that thousands of people are waiting for the moment your story ends. They want catharsis, closure, blood. And then the site chat opens. First 1 line. Don't waste it. Then a cascade of real-time comments. He was better than the last one. Too much hiding. Should have fought. Make it poetic. Use the gun. Don't flinch. $175 tip. Let him say something first. $40 tip. Slow bleed. I stand up, hold the gun, look into the dark. Somewhere in there, the camera watches me. Somewhere out there, they watch the feed. I don't know how long I speak. I say everything I never had the balls to say on the outside. I talk about the cases I buried, the people I failed, the partners I trusted, the system that feeds off us, the clients that smile while selling you out. I talk about Brad. And when I'm done, the screen flashes. Contract closing. Verify final moment. Proceed. I don't press it. I pull the battery from the laptop, smash the screen, dump it in the sump drain, and sit back down. If they want a show, they'll get static. If they want a clean shot, they'll have to come get it. I close my eyes and wait for the moment I stop being a person and start being an ending. Somewhere above, a door creaks open. Footsteps. Careful. Slow. They're not rushing, because they know the viewers love a slow fade. I hadn't heard from Marcus in 4 days, which wasn't unusual on its own. He had this pattern, disappearing off the radar, re-emerging with some half-baked theory about the Denver airport or a secret society running Arkansas. We were both in our junior year at ASU, but Marcus had mentally dropped out long before he actually did. What was unusual was the flash drive. No return address, just a padded envelope in my mailbox with my name typed out. Inside, a basic 32GB drive. Nothing else. The kind you'd get at a gas station. And I didn't even plug it in at first. Just stared at it, heart weirdly heavy. And I didn't admit it out loud, but I was starting to worry about him. A week earlier, Marcus had shown me a site on the dark web called Waypoints. It looked like something built in 1997. Plain black background, green text, and a long scroll of coordinates. Each entry had a highway exit number, a GPS pin, and a tag next to it in red font. Things like no return, restricted, or tested. Some had short user-submitted notes. Saw lights in the tree line, stayed in the car, still hear them sometimes. Girl in red dress, do not exit. Tested 3 a.m., confirmed active. I asked him what active meant, and he just grinned like a kid with a magic trick. It means if you go there, he said, something happens. Marcus was always chasing that kind of shit, ever since high school. Not ghost stories. He didn't believe in the paranormal, but the real stuff. Government test zones, closed-door communities, buried crime scenes no one talks about. He once drove 6 hours to check out an abandoned ranger station because a Reddit post claimed it had a hatch with no bottom. This site was just his next rabbit hole. The last time I saw him was outside my apartment. He was wired, excited in that manic way he got when he was sure he was onto something. He said he was going to test one, and that's how he phrased it. Exit 94. It's close, middle of nowhere. I'll film the whole thing. I told him not to. He rolled his eyes and said, Come on, man. If I vanish, you'll have a viral documentary. Then he gave me a mock salute and drove off. That was 8 days ago. Tonight, I finally plugged in the flash drive. I wish I hadn't. It contained a single video file, m94.dash.mp4, 10 minutes long, no title screen, just dash cam footage, nighttime, flat desert highway, headlights cutting through the dust and blackness. At first, it was boring, like every late night drive I've ever done. His playlist was low in the background, something ambient and forgettable. Then, he spoke. Alright, I'm coming up on it now. Exit 94. It's not on Google Maps. I feel like I'm driving into the goddamn void. His voice was steady, but you could hear the nerves creeping in slightly. He took the turn off onto a cracked, narrow road. No signs, no lights, just endless sand and brush and fence posts rotting in the ground. 7 minutes in, something flickered in the frame. A shape just on the edge of the headlights. Too far to identify, but not far enough to ignore. He slowed down. You seeing this? What the fuck? The footage shook slightly. The camera caught 5 figures just off the road, standing, still. Their faces weren't visible. Or maybe they were just hidden. It took me a second to understand what I was looking at. Masks. White. Featureless. Full-face masks. They didn't move. Not even a twitch. Like mannequins forgotten in the middle of the desert. Marcus stopped the car. The figures didn't even react. He whispered something under his breath. Then, the camera glitched. A sharp digital hiccup. And when it came back, the figures were closer. Closer by at least 10 feet. No motion. Then, the feed cut. Black screen. End of the file. I sat there for a full minute, frozen, trying to rationalize what I just watched. Was it staged? Maybe. He could have gotten some people to dress up and pull a prank. But Marcus didn't do performance art. He wanted answers, not attention. If this was a joke, it wasn't like him. I called the police, filed a missing person report. They were polite, said they'd check, but I could hear it in their tone. They thought he was just some college kid who ran off. Maybe he was burned out from college. Maybe it was some drugs. He was probably fine. Maybe he was just burned out from school. Maybe it was drugs. He was probably fine. The usual script. That was this morning. Tonight, someone knocked on my door at 1:17 a.m. Just one knock, not even a second. I waited, watched the people, but no one was there. I swear I saw something on the sidewalk as I looked through the glass. I parked a car with its headlights off, engine running. I waited, watched the people. No one was there. But I swear, I saw something on the sidewalk as I looked through the glass. A parked car with its headlights off, engine running, and a figure walking back toward it, wearing something bone white over their face. I didn't sleep. I just sat with the drive in my hand, trying to figure out whether to delete it or to make copies. Marcus went looking for the truth, and now it's looking for me. I didn't tell anyone about the guy at the door. I didn't even call the cops. I just stayed up, every light in my apartment on, checking the hallway every 20 minutes like an idiot. By morning, I convinced myself it was just paranoia. A trick of light. Maybe a neighbor walking their dog. The kind of bullshit you tell yourself to keep moving. I made a copy of the dashcam file, uploaded it to an encrypted folder, and took the flash drive to the police station. The officer at the desk, some guy named Hodges, took my statement without even pretending to be interested. He said they'd review the footage and forward it to the appropriate department. I tried to press him, asked him if other people have gone missing near exit 94, if anyone's reported masked individuals out there, but he kept glancing at the clock behind me. Before I left, I asked if they had any recent cases involving a Marcus Daly. He stared at me like I was speaking another language. Then he typed something into his terminal. "Nothing comes up with that name in this jurisdiction," he said. I walked out with a pit in my stomach. Marcus had definitely been pulled over for speeding last semester, just a few blocks from campus. There should have been some sort of record. That night, I drove to exit 94. It's 90 minutes outside of Phoenix. Nothing but scrubland, rusted fences, and radio static. The GPS glitches as soon as I get close. The exit ramp isn't even marked, just a crumbling shoulder that peels off like a service road into emptiness. No other cars, no lights, just the crunch of gravel under my tires and the dull thump of my own heartbeat in my ears. I parked and stepped out. The silence out there is oppressive, like the land itself was holding its breath. I walked about 30 feet past the guardrail, into the brush, sweeping my flashlight across the ground. That's when I found it. A set of tire tracks, veering off the road. They ended at a flat patch of ground, where something had clearly been parked for a while. A dark stain in the sand, and half buried in the dirt, a phone case, red and black. Marcus's. I didn't have time to feel anything about it, because I heard movement. Crunch. Not close, but not far either. I killed my flashlight, froze, and waited. Nothing. And then, a figure stepped into view, maybe 40 feet away, silhouetted by the starlight. At first, I thought it was just some drifter, but then another appeared, then another. I counted 5. All of them were wearing masks, plain, pale, expressionless masks, different styles, but the same effect, blank, human-shaped voids. They stood still, like they had been waiting for me. And then, one more stepped forward from behind the others. It was Marcus. Same clothes that I'd last seen him in. His arms hung limp at his sides. His face, it was slack, blank, but not like the masks. It was like he wasn't there. I whispered his name without meaning to. He didn't even react. The masked figures turned toward him slowly in unison. Then, even slower, they turned to face me. And that's when I fucking ran. I didn't stop until I was in the car, locked in, reversing wildly down the narrow shoulder. The figures didn't follow. Not physically. But when I looked in the rearview mirror, I swore I saw Marcus raise his arm. Like he was pointing at me. The next morning, I checked the waypoint site again. Exit 94 had a new tag next to it. Tested. Still active. That wasn't there before. I tried to go back to the police, but Officer Hodges wasn't on shift. The guy at the desk claimed there was no one by that name at the precinct. And said maybe I had the wrong station. His tone was too polite, too deliberate. When I got home, my front door was unlocked. Nothing was missing, nothing broken, but someone had been inside. I could feel it. A chair slightly moved, a pen left upright on the counter that I know I had rolled under the toaster. Then I got the second video. No sender, just a Dropbox link in my email from a burner account I didn't even recognize. File name x94.still.mov. It was more dashcam footage, but not from Marcus, from someone else. Someone who followed the same path. Different angle, but the same stretch of road. And at one point, midway through, it zoomed in on something in the distance. Me, standing at the roadside, holding Marcus's phone case, looking around like an idiot, completely unaware I was being filmed. The timestamp was the night before. Someone was already watching me, recording me, just like they did to Marcus. I stopped going to class. Every time I stepped outside, I felt it. That eyes on the back of your neck sensation. A car parked too long across the street. Someone scrolling a little too slowly at the cafe behind me. I started taking side streets, wiping down my doorknobs, watching my reflection move slightly out of sync. But I couldn't stop digging. There had to be something. A breadcrumb, a weakness. I went back to the waypoint site. The layout hadn't changed, but now I noticed a new button at the bottom. Submit proof. It was small, easy to miss. When I clicked it, a dialog box opened with two fields: exit number and proof of contact. There was no explanation of what that meant, but as I hovered over it, a familiar chill spread down my arms, like I was being tested. I started to think Marcus didn't find exit 94 on his own. I think they chose him. I tried to go to a reporter. She was local, independent, and she had written pieces on missing persons and surveillance tech. I sent her everything: the videos, the photos, a PDF of forum screenshots. She agreed to meet. We sat in the back of a diner with my laptop between us. She didn't say much, just listened, nodding slowly. Then she asked one question. How do you know the person in the second video was Marcus? I told her I recognized him. Same clothes, same build, same watch. But she kept pressing. You never saw his face. You can't even confirm he was alive. Something about the way she said it chilled me. Maybe that's the point, she said. They want you to think you saw him, to keep you looking, to keep you in it. I asked her what she meant by they. She smiled soft and tired. I think you already know. She stood up and said she'd be in touch. She never was. 2 days later, her website went offline. Her number stopped working. All her old articles scrubbed. The last message I ever got from Marcus came 2 nights later. It wasn't a video this time. It was a zip folder titled exit94-final.zip. Inside were 9 images, low res, black and white, like infrared security cam footage. Most were just landscapes, blank road, desert brush, empty sky. But the 6th one stopped me. It was a photo of me, through a window in my apartment, sitting at my desk, taken from outside. It was dated yesterday. The final image showed an open field, a concrete platform, and a person kneeling in the center. Their head was covered with something, a cloth, maybe a hood. Around them stood 6 figures in masks, the same ones from Marcus's video. Only this time, they were all facing the camera. And in the bottom right corner, in faint gray text, it said, "You were selected." I'm leaving tonight. I booked a one-way bus ticket under a different name, my phone staying behind. So is this laptop. I printed out the videos and mailed them to a few people I trust, just in case. They don't want exposure. They want compliance, curiosity. They want you to think you found something no one else has. They don't stop you. They wait. They watch. They let you walk right in, camera in hand, thinking you're the one uncovering the mystery. But Exit 94 isn't a place. It's a filter. And the second you click it, when you think you're observing them, you're already on the list. I started delivering for Uber 3 months after my second eviction. There aren't many ways to make fast money when you got no savings, a cratered credit score, and a 2009 Civic with a cracked windshield. Uber was the only thing that didn't ask for references, and I could eat cold drive-through and sleep in my car between shifts. The only thing I needed was gas and a phone that wouldn't die. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't even livable, but it kept me just above drowning. That changed when Uber flagged my account for low engagement. I missed too many pings, probably from napping through peak hours. I emailed support, begged for another chance, got a form reply that said I was under review. Had 3 days to make rent. So, I started asking around. Online, off the books forums, gig worker discords. Most people had nothing useful. A couple suggested selling plasma or flipping food stamps. But one guy DM'd me with something different. Yo, you ever heard of Dropper? No. Dark app, invite only. But it pays stupid good. No background check, no face-to-face. You just deliver boxes. That's it. What's the catch? Don't ask. Just take the job. Follow the rules. He sent me a .onion link. I had to open it through Tor. The site looks surprisingly professional. Flat black UI, gray icons, no branding. Just a message at the top. We deliver silently. We pay quickly. It asked me to scan my license and proof of insurance, then took me straight to the app download. APK only. No app store, no permissions list, just an install button. I hesitated for maybe 10 seconds. Then, I hit install. The first job came in the next morning. $250 to drive across town and drop a medium-sized box on a doorstep in the industrial district. No signature required, no questions asked. The box was waiting at a warehouse with no signage. Just a man in a gray hoodie standing by a loading dock. He didn't even say a word, just handed it over and walked back inside. The box was sealed tight, no markings, light enough to carry one-handed. Delivery took 20 minutes. I dropped it on a porch cam, took a photo through the app, and hit complete. 2 minutes later, $250 hit my linked crypto wallet. I stared at the screen like an idiot for a full minute. I've delivered dinner for $12, groceries for 10. In this box, whatever it was, I just paid my water bill. 2 hours later, another job appeared. I kept delivering for 3 weeks. It was all the same. Show up, grab a box, follow the GPS. Always in town, always anonymous. The pickups were silent. The drop-offs were even quieter. Sometimes I'd glimpse through a window as I walked back to my car, a face just out of focus, watching, maybe. Or maybe that was just in my head. The payouts kept rising. $300, $500. One job had paid $900 to drive a sealed metal crate out of a parking lot and slide it into the back of an idling van. My Uber app sat untouched. Rent was paid. I upgraded my phone, bought real groceries. For once, I felt stable. One morning, I got a notification from Dropper before a job posted. New delivery guidelines. Gloves required. Provided. Mask required. Provided. No client interaction. Do not open or inspect packages. Violation will result in account closure and forfeit of earnings. I laughed. Gloves and a mask? What was I? A bank robber? but the job that followed paid $1,200. So, I put the gloves on, slid on the plain white surgical mask they left in the pickup crate, and delivered the next box like nothing had even changed. That night, I had a weird thought that I couldn't shake. What if I already delivered something illegal? Something alive? I mean, the box was sealed, but what if I'd missed something? A sound, a movement. I told myself I was overthinking it. I needed the money, and I wasn't hurting anybody. But I noticed something else that day too. The app had a new section. Ratings. Every delivery now had 5 stars. I couldn't rate the clients, but apparently they could rate me. And they were. Every single job said 5 stars next to my name. Like they were pleased. Like I was doing exactly what they wanted. It wasn't just gloves and a mask anymore. The next job came with a black envelope. Inside was a folded sheet of instructions, printed in crisp, bold text. New protocol effective immediately. Wear the included mask for pickup and drop off. No speaking during delivery. Do not initiate eye contact with clients. Do not open or inspect the package. Non-compliance may result in escalation. Attached to the sheet was the mask. It wasn't cloth. It was plastic. White, full face, featureless. No mouth slit. No mesh over the eyes. Just 2 smooth oval holes that made my reflection look like a mannequin or a lab dummy. The job paid $2,000. I sat in the car for a long time holding the mask in my lap, thinking about my student loan balance, my credit score, and the past due envelope taped to my apartment door. Then, I put the mask on. The pickup was in an underground garage, the kind of place where every sound echoes too loud, like the building's listening. A man in black gloves placed a briefcase in my trunk without a word. The dropper app gave me coordinates, some glass high-rise downtown with no signage. Just a single buzzable door. I knocked. A woman opened it. She was wearing the same mask. She didn't speak. She took the briefcase, nodded once, and shut the door. The money hit my wallet 30 seconds later. I tried to quit the next day. Something had shifted in my gut after that delivery. Like I'd crossed an invisible line. Not just morally, viscerally. The kind of line you only feel once it's too late to go back. I uninstalled the app, wiped my browser, changed my phone number. I didn't sleep that night. I kept dreaming about a box on my doorstep, just sitting there, not moving, not making a sound. But in the dream, I knew if I opened it, everything would end. When I woke up, I went to the front door just to check. There was a box there. Small, plain, taped shut. My name was on it, written in black Sharpie. No label, no courier. I hadn't ordered anything. I stared at it for a full minute before picking it up. It was light. I opened it. Inside was a single object. My mask. The one I wore on the last delivery. Folded underneath it was a photo. Of me. Taken from across the street. Mask on. Standing outside the woman's building. Someone had been watching me while I worked. And now, they were letting me know. The app was back on my phone that afternoon. I didn't download it. It just appeared. I tapped it. The screen was blank for a moment. Then, status reactivated. Rating 5 stars. I accepted the next job. What else could I do? The app started getting creative. One app had no pickup, just coordinates in the middle of nowhere, where a black SUV idled in the dark, trunk already open. Another time, I delivered a locked container to a gated storage unit, and as I left, I passed another masked courier, walking the opposite direction. Same mask, same gloves, no eye contact. I wasn't alone in this. And then came the night I broke the rule. The box was heavier than usual, dense, metal, cold to the touch. It rattled slightly as I moved it. I stared at it on the passenger seat for 10 full minutes, every instinct in my body screaming not to do it. Then, I cracked it open, just an inch, enough to shine my flashlight inside, and I saw something move. It was fast, wet. I couldn't make out what it was. A limb? Maybe. An arm? There was a sound too. Not a voice. Not quite. But something that knew it was being looked at. I slammed the lid shut and drove like hell. When I got home, I threw up in the parking lot. There was already another envelope on my door. Inside was a note. Typed. Your next delivery has been scheduled. You will receive further instruction at the pickup site. Please do not resist. No payment offer. No option to decline. And stapled to the note was a photo of my sister, taken outside her job. That morning, I didn't sleep. I sat on my bed with the lights off, mask in one hand, phone in the other, staring at that damn app on my screen as the job notification came in. Final delivery incoming. Please prepare. I told myself I was doing it for her. That if I made one more delivery, just one, they'd leave my sister alone. That they'd wipe the photo from whatever goddamn server they were pulling it from, and I could disappear for good. But deep down, I knew the truth. You don't leave, Dropper. The pickup was at an old loading dock on the outskirts of town. Industrial zone. Most of the buildings around it had long been gutted. Windows busted out, graffiti halfway faded by the sun and wind. A white van was parked at the dock, engine running, back doors open. Inside was a crate. Not a box, not a briefcase. A full, human-sized crate, lined with dark padding and plastic restraints. Like it was built for something alive. Or someone. The app pinged. Step into unit. Secure straps. Remain still. My hands were shaking so badly I nearly dropped the phone. I looked around the lot, half expecting someone to step out of the shadows with a weapon, a camera, anything. No one came. Because they didn't have to. I climbed in. The straps clicked into place like they were made for me. The lid began to lower, mechanically. No one even touched it. No hands. No hydraulics that I could see. Just a slow, deliberate seal. Total darkness. And then, the final message, displayed in faint white text across the inside of the crate lid. Thank you for your service. Rating, 5 stars. It's been hours, maybe longer. I hear the van moving, and stopping, and moving again. Sometimes I hear voices outside, muffled, emotionless. I think they're other drivers. I think they're talking about where to drop me. I can't tell if I'm being sold, punished, recycled. All I know is I'm cargo now. And I think I've delivered people like me before. I just didn't know it. The worst part isn't the fear, or the dark, or even knowing what's waiting at the end of this route. The worst part is, the inside of this crate, it's warm. Like someone else was just in here. I've done some questionable shit for views. I'm not proud of that. Dumpster diving, fake crime scene pranks, a haunted asylum stream where I knocked over a lamp and screamed like I'd seen a demon, all for an audience that rarely cracked triple digits. People say it's easy to go viral. It's not. Streaming's like yelling into a hurricane. You can say the wildest shit in the world, but no one hears you unless you're already somebody. That's when I first heard about Deadstream. I thought it was just a Reddit creepypasta. I was scrolling late one night, half drunk, totally burned out, when I landed in a thread on an underground creator Discord. The post title was vague. For those tired of the algorithm, Try the real feed. The comments were worse. Only stream that streams back. I watched a guy vanish in real time. They never cut. Careful what you click. Invite only. Don't beg. I didn't think it was real until a user with no profile photo DM'd me a single link. No message. Just Deadstream.Onion. It was a Tor link. I knew better. I swear, I did. I've been on the dark web before, years ago, looking for footage to react to. I never saved anything, never paid. I just skimmed through broken markets and weird forums, then noped out when I hit anything too real. And this was different. The landing page was blank. Just a white box and 3 words. Are you ready? I clicked yes. The page loaded slowly, like it was alive, thinking. Then the stream started. It was grainy and silent at first. Static crackled and resolved into a high-up surveillance view of a parking garage. One man, pacing, phone to his ear. He looked nervous, out of place. The camera cut. Now a stairwell. That same man, running, lights flickering. Then, a still shot of the same garage, now empty, no man. Chat messages started appearing on the side of the screen. Hundreds, maybe thousands. He shouldn't have run. That was fast. LOL, rewind to 10:34. Watch the shadows. I checked the timestamp. This wasn't a recording. It was live. I ended the stream, closed the laptop, sat there for 5 minutes, hand hovering over the power button. Then, I reopened it. I started reacting to it. Privately at first, just clips. Then, I mentioned it on stream. Told my tiny audience I'd found something wild, like a super niche ARG for horror junkies. People loved it. My views doubled, then tripled. I never showed the actual stream, just my reactions. I blurred frames, described what was happening, called it immersive horror. Something so real it messes with your head. And I kept tuning in. Every night, the stream showed different places. Alleyways, suburban streets, industrial parks. Sometimes nothing would happen for minutes. Then, someone would walk into frame. Sometimes they'd leave. Sometimes they wouldn't. Sometimes you'd hear something. Heavy breathing, wet footsteps, knocking. One night, I swear, I saw a guy open a car trunk and look inside. Then, he saw the camera, stared straight into it, said something I couldn't hear, and the stream cut to black. Then, the stream started changing. It loaded faster. The interface got slicker. The chat window opened automatically every time I visited. And then, about a week ago, I noticed something in the corner of the video feed. A reflection. Just for a second. My poster on my bedroom wall, framed in the background of a hallway shot from the stream. I thought I was going crazy. I paused, rewinded. It was blurry, grainy, but unmistakable. It wasn't a shot from somewhere else. It was my hallway. The stream had been inside my apartment, and I hadn't even known. After I saw my own hallway on the stream, I did what any normal person would do. I tore my apartment apart. I checked for cameras in the vents, behind the mirror, inside the smoke detector. Nothing. I ran a signal scan on my phone. No rogue devices. No unknown Bluetooth IDs. I even moved my setup to the bathroom that night, just in case. Slept in the tub with the light on and the door locked. But the next day, the stream was still going. Same feed, same glitchy, shifting camera angles, same dead silence. I tuned in, like always. And the worst part, the stream started to feel personal. Like it knew what I was going to click on next. Like it knew when I was watching. New scenes would load the second I logged in. scenes that felt timed to me. One time I saw a park I'd walked through that afternoon. Another showed a bird's eye view of a gas station. My car was parked at pump 3. I played it off on stream like it was all part of the experience. I leaned into it. I acted like it was a haunted app, some kind of AI-based ARG that customized itself to its viewers. People ate it up in the comments. This is next level horror. How is this not banned? Can you drop the link? No way. This isn't real. Are you sure you're not just in it now? The last comment got me. I laughed it off, but then the chat in Deadstream started saying the same thing. He sees it now. Watch how long it takes him to figure it out. He's better on camera than the last one. I stopped the stream, closed everything, logged out, but the site kept running in the background. I unplugged my PC, then threw my router in the garbage, and used my phone as a hotspot. Didn't matter. The stream opened itself the next time I opened Chrome. No login, no access prompt, just a black screen. Then, white text. You've been promoted. Prepare for your feature. The night after that, I woke up to the sound of static. Not from a speaker, not from my phone, from my monitor. It was on, despite being unplugged. The Deadstream site was loaded, full screen, no controls. I watched myself, live, lying in bed, eyes fluttering in my sleep, twitching. The faint rise and fall of my chest, a low-angle camera shot from the corner of the room, like someone had mounted it while I slept. My bedroom light turned on by itself. The screen updated in real time. I turned to look behind me. Nothing. The corner was empty. No camera. No movement. Just me and the screen, feeding each other back and forth like a funhouse mirror that had gone too deep. I stopped streaming, stopped posting, stopped sleeping. I covered every inch of my apartment with foil, duct tape, and blackout curtains. I tried reaching out to cops, to tech YouTubers, even a cybersecurity firm. No one ever responded. It was like my emails disappeared before they even arrived. My channel was still growing, somehow. Comments kept pouring in. And now, they weren't asking for uploads. They were just saying things like, "He is almost ready. When does it happen? I want to be watching live." Last night, I found a USB drive on my desk. I never saw who left it. The lights were off. The door was locked. It just appeared. I plugged it in. There's only one file on it. A video. Me. Standing in my kitchen, looking at the USB drive. Filmed from just over my shoulder. The timestamp said it was recorded 5 minutes before I found it. I woke up to the sound of applause. Not real. Not clapping hands. The artificial looping kind. Like a YouTube soundboard. When I opened my eyes, I wasn't in my bed. I was in a chair. Metal. Bolted to the floor. Arms strapped down. But not tight. Almost polite. There were lights all around me. Cold. White. Blinding. I couldn't see anything beyond the edge of the glow. Just shadows shifting beyond the ring. Silhouettes of equipment. Maybe tripods. Maybe people. A screen flickered in front of me. It showed me. Live feed. Same camera angle. Same chair. Chat messages scrolled down the right side of the screen. He's awake, LOL. Watch his face when he sees it. I told you he'd cry. He owes me 5K. I screamed. No one flinched. I wasn't gagged. I wasn't even really restrained. But the silence in the room told me I couldn't leave. Not because I was physically trapped, but because they weren't done filming yet. A mechanical voice buzzed from a speaker above.
Your feature has begun. Please perform.
I asked what they wanted.
The audience will decide.
That's when the polls appeared. on the side of the stream. Should he scream? Should he run? Should he beg? Should he fight? Each one climbed in votes by the second. I watched the numbers tick up as viewers cast their say on what I should do next. There were thousands of them. There were thousands of them. Tens of thousands. And the worst part, I recognized some of the usernames from my own channel. They thought it was a bit, performance art, a dark ARG, next level horror. They kept tipping me. Donations filled the corner of the screen. $10. This guy's a genius. $25. Do the scream again. $50. Holy shit, this is real? I tried to talk directly to the camera, begged them to stop, told them I didn't know what this was, that someone had taken me. The chat exploded. Bro, he's so good at staying in character. I hope he wins an award. LMAO, he's literally crying. A new poll appeared. Should he disappear at the end? Yes or no? The yes votes piled in like a flood. A countdown began. 10 minutes. Streaming timer. The word finale in red. That's when I realized this wasn't a recording. This wasn't a future upload. This was happening live. I looked around the lights, tried to spot the exit. Every direction felt identical. Clean. White. Like a blank stage. I started pulling at the straps. No one stopped me. The camera followed me as I stood. I didn't even hear it move. It just did. I ran out of frame. The lights followed. More cameras. Hidden. Mounted. Everywhere. The room was endless. 5 minutes left. The chat slowed. He's gonna break. It's almost time. Watch his hands. He's figuring it out. The last one hit me wrong, because my hands, my palms, were bleeding. Not cut. Branded. A logo. Small. Circular. Familiar. The Deadstream icon. They'd put it on me. Made me part of the platform. 1 minute left. The stream zoomed in on my face. My eyes. The realization. This wasn't punishment. This was content. And they'd groomed me for it. The algorithm. The fame. The obsession. The dark web link sent at the right moment. They had watched me scramble for attention and decided I'd make a great finale. Last message in the chat. Say something. Make it good. The screen cut to black, but I swear, I still hear them clapping. I found the site at 2:46 a.m. The way you find most bad things. Bored, anxious, and already too deep into the internet. It was posted in a comment thread under a video titled, "Creepiest Surveillance Footage Ever Caught." The top reply just said, "You think that's bad? Check the list." Then a link, .onion address. No context, no upvotes. I know, I shouldn't have clicked it, but I did. The site was simple, plain black background, white text at the top, verified, confirmed departures. It was a list, names, ages, city, a photo, always just one, in a single word status. Pending, confirmed, recovered, closed. At first, I thought it was a database for found bodies, something forensic. Morbid, sure, but not unusual for the dark web. Then, I saw the dates. Not the confirmed ones, the pending ones. They were all in the future. I scrolled down and saw someone I recognized. Not a celebrity, not even a friend, just some guy from my building. Simon L., 32, Phoenix, Arizona. Status, pending. 2 days. Taken outside our complex. I could see the mailbox cluster behind him. I thought it was fake, some AI-generated trick. A deep fake, maybe even a prank. I screenshotted the entry, saved it, even walked past Simon's unit the next day just to make sure he was real. He was. He nodded at me as I passed, said hey to me, and looked normal. Then, 2 days later, he was gone. I didn't see the moving truck, didn't see him pack. His car was still in the lot, but his unit was dark, dead, mail stacking up, and no one, not even his girlfriend, had an explanation. He just didn't come home. That's when I checked the site again. Simon's status had changed. Confirmed. Collected. I took it to the cops. I walked into the precinct, pulled up the screenshot, and said someone might have been targeted. That a site was tracking people, predicting disappearances. The officer behind the glass gave me a look like I'd farted in a funeral home. Do you know the guy personally? No, he just lives in my building. So, you're reporting a missing person you don't know, based on a website you won't name, that told you he'd be gone? He took my number, said someone would follow up. No one ever did. But a day later, I saw a squad car parked across my building. Same cop from the desk. He was just sitting there, watching me. I started checking the site obsessively, refreshing it every hour. There were hundreds of names, thousands. Some I'd swear I'd seen on real missing person sites. Some were just blank silhouettes. Some had blurred faces, like the image had been corrupted or censored. Then, one night, I refreshed the page at 3:13 a.m. and I saw my own face, grainy webcam photo. Evan R., 28, Phoenix, Arizona. Status, pending, 5 days. I closed the laptop, shut everything down, pulled the battery from my phone, turned off the lights and just sat there, breathing like I ran a fucking mile. 5 days. What the fuck did that mean? I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I saw that same cop again. He was parked 1 block closer. I tried to disappear. New phone, new laptop, VPN, burner email. I left my apartment that night and checked into a trashy motel 3 towns over, using a fake name I found on a forum. I paid in cash, taped over the door peephole, and blocked out the windows. And still, the website knew where I was. On my new device, with a new IP, I opened it just to check, just to see if it was maybe gone, or if my name had disappeared. It hadn't. Evan R. Status, pending, 3 days. Location, updated. Live tracking enabled. Underneath my photo was a red dot, a map marker, hovering over the exact motel I was in. I shut the laptop, tore the SIM card from the burner phone, left both on the dresser. I was out the door in 30 seconds. I spent the next day drifting between public libraries and coffee shops with unsecured Wi-Fi. Didn't stay in one place longer than an hour. Didn't use my real name. Didn't make eye contact. No phones. No internet. And still, people stared. A man reading a newspaper with no pages turned. A woman at the bus stop who coughed every time I looked at her. A kid in a hoodie who held his phone up toward me for too long. I wasn't sure what was real anymore. That night, I got a message scribbled on the side of a napkin, left under my coffee cup at a diner. You're flagged. Stop checking the site. That's how I met Jay. Late 40s. Eyes like he hadn't slept in a decade. He found me again 2 hours later, at a Greyhound station, and he sat behind me without asking. You're the kid watching the feed, right? I didn't answer. They can see when you're logged in. It's part of it. Every time you visit, it confirms your pattern. It makes the target more accurate. I asked him what the hell was going on. He told me this. The site's not for the public. It's for them contractors, agencies, off-the-books operators. Everyone thinks the dark web is where criminals go to hide. Truth is, it's where systems go to keep things quiet. They don't need to kill you. They just need you to vanish. I asked him who they were. He smiled. Does it even matter? He told me he'd been listed too, years ago, pending 6 days, but he ran early, cut his phone, bank, and every traceable thing before it hit 0. They like clean removals, no mess. If you cause noise, they pause, but they don't forget. I asked if he'd ever seen someone escape twice. He just shook his head. I made a mistake that night. I went back to the site. I had to know. Jay's face was there too. Faded. Blurry. Jason H. Status closed. Unverified. I don't know what that means. Maybe they never found him. Maybe they did. And we just don't get to know what that status means. The next morning, I woke up in a motel bathroom, cold tile against my back, having passed out with the water still running. I turned on the laptop. Evan R. Status pending. 1 day. Verify identity to confirm location. Click to confirm. The button blinked, waiting, like it knew I was watching. I didn't click the button. I shut the laptop, left it in a dumpster behind a Walgreens, and walked. No car, no bus, no GPS, just instinct. That was yesterday. I'm not sure how long I've been awake now. Every time I slow down, I see someone watching. Not in uniform, not even obvious, just aware. The way someone checks their phone when they're not getting notifications. The way a car pulls away from the curb a few seconds too late. I don't think they're chasing me. I think they're tracking completion. Like I'm already marked, already scheduled. Everything else is just logistics. I broke down this morning, tried calling someone, an old friend, Julia. She works at a tech firm, and she's sharp, paranoid like me. If I thought anyone could help, it'd be her. She answered on the second ring. No hello, just, "You're not supposed to be using this number." I asked her how she knew. She didn't answer, just exhaled hard and said, "Check your face." I hung up and went into a restroom at a gas station, washed my face, looked in the mirror. There was a small black dot on my neck, like a mole, but too perfect, too circular. I scratched at it. It didn't come off. I tried accessing the site one last time using a stranger's phone. The homepage didn't ask if I was ready this time. It just opened, straight to my profile. Evan R. Status verified. Awaiting collection. Location confirmed. ETA 12/14/56. A countdown? To what? Pickup? Processing? Death? I stared at it, trying to make the math make sense. It was accurate to the second, updating in real time, ticking down like a timer on a bomb that no one else could hear. I don't know what they do to people. Some names get marked closed, some say recovered, some go unverified, like they were too messy to handle. And then, some just vanish, completely scrubbed from the page, like they never even existed. I think that's the cleanest outcome. Not dying. Being erased. I went back to my apartment. I know how that sounds, but at some point, you just gotta stop running. It's not giving up. It's resignation. Like when you stop refreshing the tracking number because you know the package is arriving today. The lights were already off. My neighbors didn't look at me. One actually turned and walked the other way when she saw me. They knew. I'm sitting here, writing this from a burner laptop, watching the countdown. 2 minutes and 38 seconds. 2 minutes and 37 seconds. No sounds outside. No boots. No sirens. But I know they don't need those. They've already been here. This isn't an abduction. It's an appointment. They don't need to break in. They don't need to grab you. They just mark you. And then the world moves on without you. Final status update just flashed. Verified. In transit. The screen went dark. And so did the lights in my apartment.